Hey, sad day. It's a sad day for sure. What's up? It's the Culture Detective here investigating your favorite movies. Today it was a little treacherous and a little atrocious for me and for many other people, but I'm going to talk about three movies. So I'm going to be talking about The Wolf of Wall Street by Martin Scorsese, Asghar Farhadi's A Separation, and Greta Gerwig's Lady Bird. So starting off with the first one, The Wolf of Wall Street by Martin Scorsese, a movie that I've been waiting to watch for a very long time but never gotten around to it because I didn't have any time. It doesn't exist. But yeah, anyway, I watched this movie a couple days ago. It took me like 2 days to watch this movie because this movie is actually 3 hours long. It's 3 hours long. What is this, Avengers Endgame, Lord of the Rings? It's 3 friggin' hours long. But Scorsese is no stranger to long movies, and also Scorsese is no stranger to great movies. Movies like Raging Bull, Taxi Driver, Goodfellas, The King of Comedy. They're all from Martin Scorsese. Not forgetting about The friggin' Departed, which is one of the best movies of the 2000s. Anyway, on The Departed, we have Leonardo DiCaprio, and on this movie, Leo DiCaprio returns as the main character, Jordan Belfort, who started off, fresh, green, and ambitious, who decided to work in Wall Street because he wants some money, and he became a stockbroker. And soon, because he's very good at talking and persuading and convincing, he became an excellent stockbroker, and he became super duper rich, even though it's not actually legal. And this movie is basically the life, the beginning, and the ending of the stock breaking journey of Mr. Jordan Belfort, and all the twists and turns and all the ups and downs of the entire journey. And wow, first of all, Leo Leonardo DiCaprio, Leo DiCap. I'm gonna refer to him as Leo DiCap. His name is too long. So Leo DiCap, he's fantastic in the movie. He just sinks into every single role that he had ever played, and his performance as the rich careless asshole is actually incredibly convincing. Of course, we also have the supporting character played by Jonah Hill, who also gave an amazing performance. A lot of the comedic moments in the movie are delivered by Jonah Hill, but Jonah Hill doesn't deliver it in a very silly, goofy way like him in many previous movies, but he did it in a more, you know, mature way, in like a real serious character. We also have John Bernthal in this movie, who's also pretty great, and we also have a bunch of other actors and actresses involved. We have Matthew McConaughey right off the start in the movie. There's this very famous scene where Matthew McConaughey's character and Jordan Belfort are having lunch together in this very expensive restaurant, and Matthew McConaughey's character is just hitting his chest, singing the songs, and apparently that's improvised, which is really impressive. We also have uh, John Favreau as one of the people there, one of the government people, and we also have Gary Chandler, I think that's his name, who plays an FBI agent who is actually the main reason why Jordan Belfort's life started to crash down after the midpoint of the movie. We also have Jean Dujardin in the movie. I think that's his name, right? Jean Dujardin, who appeared in The Artist and won an Oscar for it. But he played this guy who's the manager of the Swiss bank, who helped Jordan Belfort hide his blood money, like illegal money. And anyway, he's fantastic as well. First of all, given how long Martin Scorsese had been in the movie industry, it's it's very impressive that he still writes amazing dialogues. Dialogues in this movie are so well written. There's a rhythm, sort of music to the dialogues, and yet they're realistic. When it needs to be funny, it's funny. When it needs to be serious and dramatic, it is serious and dramatic. Of course, we have the comedic moments in the movie, which actually surprised me because they're actually funnier than I've expected. We have a lot of narration in this movie. Jordan Belfort basically narrates through the entire movie, and his narration is friggin' entertaining because it looks like an ad whenever he narrates and speaks on the screen, like he's talking to the audience. There's even a scene where Jordan Belfort's explaining this concept about getting more money by using this new strategy and blah blah blah, and he stopped mid sentence and says, "You're not getting any of this, do ya?" Well, let me put it this way. I just love how engaging and interactive the narration is. Also, a couple of great scenes, fantastic scenes. We have the scene, the Quaalude scene. Quaalude is this super heavy drug that gets you high, and apparently Jordan Belfort took a bunch of Quaaludes, and then he was told that the FBI had tapped all his phones in the house, and he realized that Jonah Hill's character was using the phone, and so he had to rush back home and stop Jonah Hill from exposing himself to the FBI while high. Both Jonah Hill and Jordan Belfort were high, and that was a pretty intense yet funny scene. Also, another scene that really stuck out to me is the boat chat scene where the FBI agent, played by Gary Chandler, and Jordan Belfort first met, and they had a chat on a boat, on a very beautiful, luxurious boat, and it was a very passive-aggressive conversation. And despite being 3 hours long, I wasn't really all that bored by the movie. There are a couple of moments in the movie that feels a little slow, but other than that, the edits is just very fast-paced, very entertaining, and also this movie's about greed. And the ending of the movie, like the last few seconds, just resolve that entirely. I just wish that the movie would spend more time on perfecting the ending and showing the change that Jordan Belfort sort of has at the end. But instead, we just hear a bit of narration to conclude the movie, which isn't really all that great of an ending. Also, Jordan Belfort, the real Jordan Belfort, did a little cameo in the last scene, which is really cool. And other than that, it's a pretty great movie. I like it a lot. I think this movie is definitely worth watching, and I'm giving The Wolf of Wall Street a strong 8 out of 10. Really, really close to a 9. I really want to give it a 9, but then let's make it a super strong 8. Anyway, the second movie that I'm going to be talking about is A Separation by Asghar Farhadi. Or in Persian, I'm totally going to butcher this. Jodai Nader as Simin. So this movie is from Iran. I've never actually watched a movie from the Middle East before, so this is new to me. This is new territory. And I was watching this movie on my computer, and I had to download a subtitle player, and I have to download a separate subtitles file for this. And they were out of sync. The subtitles being played and the movie itself, they were out of sync, and they were like, the subtitles are also slowed down slightly. So there are a lot of moments in the movie where I just don't know what's happening. I just see a lot of people talking, just speaking in Persian because the subtitles are not really working. But this is new territory for me, and I'm really happy about that. But that being said, I mean, I don't understand Persian at all. Salam means hi. and Cho means four. That's the only two things that I picked up from watching this movie. I still thought the dialogues and the acting is incredibly natural and realistic in the movie. And I forgot to talk about what this movie is about. Basically, Nader and Simin. So Nader is a man, Simin is his wife, and Simin wants to leave the country, but Nader needs to stay behind to take care of his father who has Alzheimer's disease. So they had to separate, like the title suggests. And so after Simin leaves, Nader hired a new helper, domestic helper, to help with his father who has the Alzheimer's disease. And one day when he came back home, he saw his dad just laying on the ground unconscious. And he also found out that money were stolen. So he suspected that Razia, the domestic helper, did it, stole the money, and left his dad unconscious. So Nader sort of hit Razia, but also at the same time, Razia also has a very abusive and tempered boyfriend, or actually husband, by the name of Hojia or Hoja, I think that's his name. So later it is found out that Razia had a miscarriage, and of course Razia's husband thought it's because of Nader hitting her, and then Nader thought it's actually Hoja who's abusing her, but actually neither of them are right. And so yeah, it's a drama. It's a really solid drama about human emotions and sort of care and love, but not so much on the love part, because this movie is about a divorce after all. And of course, in Farhadi fashion, we have an ambiguous ending where it's like one of those YouTube comments where somebody says, a legend says that this person is still doing this thing today. And this applies to all Farhadi endings where at the end, Nader and Simin, they just stand there and wait for the results of the divorce court case, and they just stand there like forever, and that's how the movie ends. And I actually really like it. I mean, even if you go up to Asghar Farhadi and ask him what's the ending, I'm pretty sure that he wouldn't know, because he's the writer and he doesn't even want the audience to know it, because it doesn't even matter. And so yeah, I like this movie a lot as well. We also get to see both sides of Nader and Simin and their daughter, and it's a really solid drama movie. Not much else. I'm feeling a solid 8 out of 10 on this movie as well. Definitely worth watching. Third movie on the agenda is Lady Bird by Greta Gerwig, starring Saoirse Ronan, Laurie Metcalf, Timothée Chalamet, and Lucas Hedges, and a bunch of other people. So this character, Christine, she's about to finish her high school, which is a Catholic high school, and she wants to study in an art school on the East Coast, but she actually lives in Sacramento for the most part of the movie. And this is a coming of age movie where we see her sort of trying to adapt to her life, her latest changes to her life, and try to move on with the whole high school deal. And while I'm very picky when it comes to high school movies and teen movies, because I'm a teen myself, and currently I'm studying in 12th grade, aka senior year. And there are so many high school TV shows and movies that just feel super inaccurate, and it just pisses me off. that it's so inaccurate and it's so cliche. It's totally untrue. It's how old people view millennials. But Greta Gerwig herself, she's not really a boomer. I mean, she's the main actress for Frances Ha, a movie by Noah Baumbach, and also Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach are also, I think, in a relationship. And now Greta Gerwig is directing this movie. This is her debut. And I'm going to be honest here, this is actually not that bad of a coming of age movie. It actually feels way more realistic than some of the other coming of age movies and TV shows I've watched. While I don't really relate to it all that much because I don't study in a Catholic high school, let alone American high school, I don't experience similar things. I don't have similar ambitions with the main characters. It's not very relatable to me, but I still sort of get the sentiment behind the story, and it feels grounded. It feels realistic. There isn't a lot of romance in the movie, which is amazing. I mean, a lot of old people think that for teenagers, it's all about the love, the sex, the romance. It's all about being rebellious, and that's fucking wrong. But it is true that peer pressure exists, and you sort of want to be, cool. You sort of want to be popular. It's a real thing. But in this movie's case, there is a storyline where the main character tries to, join the cool kids, but realizing that all the cool kids are actually assholes. That storyline is a little cliche, actually. But other than that, the mother-daughter relationship building in this movie is really heartfelt. It's sincere, and I thought Saoirse Ronan gave a really good performance, and the same goes for Laurie Metcalf. So yeah, not much to complain. It doesn't feel like a really revolutionary, artsy, new wave film anyway. Um, but that's not really what I was expecting going into this movie. So yeah, movie worth watching. Also 8 out of 10. Maybe like to decent 8. Yeah, so have you watched these 3 movies? From 1 to 10, how much did you rate them? Like if you like them, hate if you hate them, and subscribe if you want more, and thanks for watching.